Hello and welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment and sports capital of the world. Today we have a special guest by the name of Sylvia Chernavsky. Sylvia Chernavsky is from Frankfurt, Germany, and she's here in the United States for a number of years with her family. And she has some interesting topic to talk about. It got to do about Michael Jackson. She's a writer, author, and she has so much of interest because, I mean, everybody, who doesn't love Michael Jackson? Everybody does. So she has a little bit of history and a lot of good things that I never heard about Michael Jackson before. So we welcome Sylvia Chernavsky.
Yes, hello.
How are you doing today?
Good, wonderful. Thank
Well,
you.
Good to have you on the show here today.
Yes.
Because I know meeting you the other day and over some lunch, we started discussing about your book. Your book is Beyond the Eyes.
Right.
It's a book about Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
Okay, and
Yes.
family. So you could tell us a little bit. First of all, how long have you're from Germany, and how long you been in the United States now?
Yeah, we came to the United States 20 years ago.
20 years ago?
And the reason was actually to start a new life. And we always liked the United States. And it was kind of strange. Anytime we came on vacation to the United States, we felt like home. And then we made a decision. And 20 years ago, we came to the United States.
So what part of the United States did you come to first?
So first we lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and then we moved to Florida, Melbourne, Florida.
Okay, and now you're here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, so we ended up here in Las Vegas because, we said, it got kind of boring in Florida for us, and we wanted to start a new life again, and said, let's move to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And we love the entertainment, and it's beautiful. It's very international. Lots of Germans live here, and that's why we came to Las Vegas.
Yeah, okay. So now you wrote this book, and what inspired you to write a story about Michael Jackson? Well, what happened? How did that happen?
Okay, yeah. Let's say it this way. I became early science. I was in the 20s, and I received a very strong message to myself, and that I will be someday connected to someone famous. And at the time, I was married to my husband, and I opened up to my husband. I said, I have no idea why I received that I will be connected to someone famous one day, and I had no idea who it would be and when it would be happen.
Right.
But that was not all. So later on in my life, I received more messages, and I thought to myself, it would be a good idea to sit down and take a notebook and write everything what you receive.
Okay, so
And yeah.
so one day you was just at home and something happened. I mean, how did you hear? First of all, how did you hear about Michael Jackson?
Okay, I have to say, I have never considered myself being a fan of Michael Jackson, or let's say, I never followed up his life. It came natural to me. Sometimes when I listened to his music, it came on the radio. I liked some of his music, but I never followed up his life. So
Okay.
that's how, and the interesting thing is, like, when I was a teenager and I went out dancing with my friends, and there was always someone who said to me, oh, the way you dance, it reminds me of Michael Jackson, or the way you look, the way you dress, it reminds me of Michael Jackson. But for me, it was like natural because it was me, who wanted to present myself,
Right.
and not Michael Jackson. But people always reminded me, that, you look like Michael Jackson,
Yeah. Now, let me question. Now, you was telling me a story about you went to a health club. You were doing exercise. You were at a club.
I was in the gym.
In the gym.
Working in the gym.
Okay. And tell us what happened from there.
Yeah. So the day, June 25th, 2009, I remember that very well. It was a Thursday, and I was working with children in a gym. And they had a childcare, and I was a childcare provider at the time. So all of a sudden, a woman came in and she approached me and she said, "Did you hear that Michael Jackson died?" And the moment when I heard this message, it was for me like I almost felt like I'm passing out. I felt like I'm losing a family member or someone I really knew from the past. That's how I felt in this moment. It was really strange to me. At the moment, I didn't know what it means. It didn't make sense to me. So, but then, you know, I came home and I wanted to hear the news, what happened. And I was sitting on the couch, I'll never forget this day. And I listened to the news and they were talking about Michael Jackson's traumatic death. And then immediately what came to my mind, I said to my husband, something is wrong. Something happened, something, I know this is not really the truth, I know something is not wrong, you know, and so this is how I experienced it so far in the beginning.
So let's take it from there. Now, something came, you said you heard somebody talking to you.
Right.
And that was the next step.
Right.
And that's what inspired you to start writing about Michael Jackson?
Exactly.
How did that happen?
Okay, so when I started continuing watching the news about Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
and I felt like I was almost like addicted watching it. And I cannot tell you why. It just made me feel like I have to watch that, I have to see that. And so anytime I turned the TV on, I was watching the news about Michael. It was on for a long time, you know,
right.
as you can imagine. It was a, you know, big thing, you
Sure.
know. And so when I started watching the news again, and I realized for the first time that I was hearing a voice. And it's almost like I can hear him like a higher frequency. It's like almost like you're turning on a radio. It's a higher frequency. It comes to my left ear. And I heard for the first time a voice saying, "I want you to believe." And I sat on the couch and very like frozen. I said, "Who is talking to me?" And then the voice came back and said, "Well, you know already who is talking to you. You're watching the news about me." And I was like in shock. I was scared to death. And I said, "You want me to know that you are talking to me, you are Michael Jackson?" And he said, "Yes, I am. You are able to hear me. I'm Michael Jackson. I want you to believe. And everything what you have received already in your lifetime starts now making sense." So, and I said, "What do you want from me? Why me? I'm an ordinary person. I'm nobody. So why do you come to me? Why can I hear you? You know?" And he said, we have shared different previous lives together, and you have been my sister in a previous life."
Really?
And it was really hard for me in this moment to believe that. And I said, "If you are a real encounter of Michael Jackson, so I want you to give me evidence and proof to believe it."
Right. So what was the next step? So then you started listening and you start taking notes. I mean,
Yeah.
people must say, "Well, something is wrong in your head. You must
Right.
not be
Exactly.
normal."
Exactly.
Because who would believe you? Because you're coming up
Exactly.
with a story like this.
Right.
This is like the only person out there that
Right.
will come out with a story
Yeah.
like this. So tell me, so what happened next?
So, first of all, I was too afraid to open up to my family. And so I opened up to my best friend, Elizabeth, and I said, I told her basically what happened, and she said, "I will bring you to a medium, and she maybe can explain what happened to you and why is this happening to you." And I said, "Well, I know already the answer, who I am, but I need to have evidence and confirmation." So she brought me to different mediums, and they all confirmed me the same thing. They said, "Yes, Michael is coming to you because you have been his sister. You were very, very close to him in a previous life, but you have shared more than one previous life with him. And So at the time, it started giving me the answers to my flashbacks, what I received, and to my pieces, what I received. It was almost like working on a puzzle, receiving a piece here, receiving a piece there, and it became a picture, you know, and it started making sense to me, you know, because I feel very related to Michael in many ways. I found out later in my life, and it comes more and more now. And for example, I'm writing lyrics, and yeah, I mean, I like to dance a lot, you know.
So you're writing lyrics.
Lyrics, yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So now, this is something that I mean, many of our viewers out there probably watching and saying this cannot be true. This is something I know you must have heard that a million times from different people about your story. They say, "How can that be possible?" You know. And can you clarify a little bit more about that? I mean, you have children of your own. You have what, 2 girls, is it?
Right.
Do you have two girls? Two girls.
Yeah.
Girls. Okay. You have a husband. You have a family. So you are already established. And you've been living a normal life, and you have a regular job now, and you are just trying to get this book out. Now the book is called Beyond the Eyes.
Yeah, the book is called Beyond the Eyes. This is It Becomes a True Story. And I would like to explain why it is called Beyond the Eyes. This is It Becomes a True Story. So I was basically told by Michael that This Is It was supposed to be his last song in his concert, you know. And so when I saw the movie This Is It, and it was very emotional for me, as you can imagine. And Michael said, listen to the song on the end, and you will understand. You will understand the lyrics I wrote, and you will find the truth in my lyrics, in my lyrics. And I studied his lyrics, and I wrote the lyrics, and I figured out that I was able to understand Michael more, because, as I just said, I never followed up his life, and it started making sense. And when This Is It came out, and he wanted me to print out the lyrics, and so I did, and I was already in the middle of my first draft of the book, and I said, how's that possible? This is what I have written so far. This is my personal story with you. And the thing is, you know, if you listen to the song and you listen carefully to the lyrics, no one really knows what he is talking about, or what I don't want to say talking about, what he's singing about. So it all started making sense, you know. So you know, if you read the lyrics, and so yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you have a unique story about Michael Jackson, something not too common. People can talk like you're talking about. I mean, this is something that people have to sit down with you and discuss this and get more deeper into the story that you have. How did it come? Word for word, you started writing down, and you end up writing the book. And I know you're German, and you had to get it translated in English in order to get it to where it's at today, so people here in the United States can understand. Being that he was from the United States, it's great. I mean, I read the introduction on it, and I saw the what you have written so far. It's very interesting, and I want to look into it a little bit more, because this is something that a lot of fans out there, probably there's millions and millions of fans all over the world, would like to know a little bit about Beyond the Eyes, which is something it can capture anybody's attention to see the real Michael Jackson. No matter what, no matter how long he'll be gone, he'll always be missed.
Right. Beyond the Eyes is basically, I chose this title because Michael's likeness were always the eyes, you know. You see a lot of front covers, like from his vinyls, you know, like you see just the eyes. That's why I have chosen the eyes. And he wanted me to see more than other people can, more beyond, like, he wanted me to connect to his eyes, to see the truth and find the truth and what he wanted to let the world know with this book, his purpose of the book.
Good, good. Well, I tell you, it's something that of interest to
Yeah.
everybody, because I think that making contact perhaps with their family members,
Right.
we're trying to make a connections for you and his daughter Paris,
Yeah.
and hopefully that happens with his manager. That
Yeah.
you already spoken to him today, as a matter of fact, right?
Yes.
So things are starting to move along in the right direction to help you with your book, but help get the people to know a little bit about Michael Jackson and Beyond the Eyes,
Right.
which is something very special.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that you don't hear about every day, especially a person
Exactly.
as famous as Michael Jackson, beloved by everyone around the world. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about what is your next step with your book about Beyond the Eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that, I worked since 2009, I started writing on this book, like first draft, and so it became published in 2014, and so it took me a while, and I did not open up to so many people. I kept it most of my life to myself.
Right.
I have to say that I had, my family and me, we had really hard times, I had to suffer a lot from that. It was not easy for me. And so I think right now, for me, is, I got my normal life back, and I have to say I'm not a psychic, or I'm not a medium. I'm not calling myself psychic, or I don't want to be called a medium. It's just I'm telling people or the world my personal experiences with Michael Jackson and what he wants the world to know. And his message to the world is that there is life after death, and that we still exist. And the most important thing was for me, like, why was I able to hear him like human beings talk to each other,
Right.
like we talk to each other right now, because we had a soul connection in many lifetimes. And that's why I'm sitting here today, and that's why I would like to move forward with this book.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you still have a connection in your life today with Michael? You still get to talk to him, or what? Any communication between the both of you?
Yeah, it is still, the conversation is not that strong anymore, but I can hear him when I need him, when I'm calling out for him, when I reach out for him. He comes back, and I can hear him, and but not always. It depends. Sometimes I can hear him very clear, and sometimes it's really far away, very far away. And you have to understand, we talk different dimensions, and it's not always like, it's not really sometimes a clear channeling, and yeah.
I mean, anybody
So-
else, anybody out there? I'm sure anybody out there probably saying, Joe has Sylvia Chaneski on the show, and this is somebody that's not. It's not a common thing. People will not
Exactly.
talk about something like
Right.
this. Is really amazing story. I mean, this is
Right.
something that
Right.
you never heard of anybody talking to
Right.
Michael Jackson
I think
and writing a book about him.
I mean, from my opinion, if I would be contacted, like, let's say this way, by someone who would tell me, listen, there is someone who wrote a book about you, and he's telling me that he has been your brother in this lifetime, okay? And I would like, I mean, to me, that's like, it is a true miracle that something like this happened in this lifetime, that two people connect again in this lifetime. And Michael always told me, I was searching for you. I was not able to find you because I didn't know where to start. I mean, of course not, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about this, you know. I received my pieces here and there and wrote it down. And then after he passed away, you know, it would probably, you know,
But you had not made any communication with him before he passed. It was after he passed.
no, yeah,
After he passed.
yeah, after he passed.
Okay, so
And he said to me, you know, he wrote a lot of lyrics, and where he always talks about a woman or a girl he was kind of searching for, and he could not connect. Like he was looking, and I read his lyrics, and I came always to the same part, you know. It's very interesting, you know. And he wanted me to let this know, you know.
yeah,
That's why he wanted me to read his lyrics, and I read most of his lyrics, you know, already. So
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so what does your family have to say about? You say you had some difficulties with your family because
yeah, in
of,
the
because all
beginning, in the beginning,
and why was that?
in the beginning, it was really difficult to open up to my family, as you can imagine. And my husband, he said to me, I remember the day I told him, you know, he said, if we weren't married for so long, we are now 30 years married.
30?
I would not believe you. I would think, you know, she's crazy, or, you know. He said, I trust you. I know this from the past that you told me certain things, like connecting to a famous person and everything what I received in my early signs.
Right.
And so, you know, and he said it makes sense, yeah.
So Michael's purpose and the message that he puts out there is about what does he want everybody to know out there?
Yeah, he wants people to know that most of all about his family, and that this is an accurately, can I say my
Correct.
English,
Yeah,
accurately, a channeling, and he wants his fans to know that the love he still has for them, and he can see that. He's watching over us, and his message is like we should believe in a life after, with the purpose of, this is the purpose of this book. And of course he gave me more messages which are in my book, and I would like that people.
You say you have two daughters. What did they say about all this to you? Hey, Mom, this thing with Michael. What did they say?
Okay,
Are they fans of Michael Jackson?
Because of that, they were a little bit suffering from all of this, you know, because I was working with my book, and I, you know, and all the things what happened to me was not so easy, as you can imagine. And they love Michael Jackson, of course, but in the beginning they were both little, you know, little kids, and they were saying, "Mommy, are you Michael Jackson sick?" You know, I did not know how to explain it to them by what, you know, when I was watching TV and I was listening to Michael's music, and it was kind of cute, you know. They were saying, "Yeah, Mommy, are you Michael Jackson sick?"
How old are your girls now?
They are almost 19 and 21.
19 and 21. Okay, so they were real young. I mean, one was probably an infant, and the other one was a couple of years old.
A little bit older, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years older. So they were really actually infants when Michael Jackson passed away.
Yeah.
Well, you know, pretty young anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, and your husband today, what does he say about you today?
Today, well, he is a very strong person. He supports me wherever he can.
Yeah.
And so he's very grounded. I wish I would have a little bit from him.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I mean, he supports me wherever he can. And
So he believes in you a lot.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, he believes in you. So he's a believer of your story, and beyond the eyes of Michael Jackson. He's kind of one of your number one fans. Right?
Yeah.
Good
He
to hear
is.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good to hear that. And Well, so what is the next step from here? What are your goals from here?
Yeah, I would like to meet different people, and what I would like to have is closure and to be understood and to be heard. That's all I want, nothing else. I
Okay.
just want the story to be out, and I want to be understood that, this is a real story.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Well, like I said, it's going to be a tough task to make it happen, because a lot of people are not going to believe this, because
Right.
they say something is not right there. How can that
Right.
be possible? You never hear of anything like that. I mean, you hear about people saying,
Yeah.
you come from a second life. This is a new life, and you were there before, and in the other world before. You have a second life experience, which is something you hear every so often people will say. There's some believers of that, and people have to sometimes think and stop and think the way you're thinking. I mean,
Right.
they want to get into your head
Yeah.
to see where's there you're coming from.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of people who say,
Yeah.
I believe Sylvia, what she's saying, and I believe in her book. I mean, what kind of response have you got from people in reference to your book so far?
Yeah, what I wanted to say before I forget is if you would have asked me this 20 years ago, I would have probably not believed in that. And I mean, I was raised Christian,
Yeah.
and I was raised to believe in God. And I would have, if you would have asked me this 20 years, I would have said, no, I don't think that is true, something like that. So.
Right.
That's the reason also why I have made the decision to write this book.
Yeah.
And yeah, so far I have really positive responses from people who I talk to, and they're all, believe me, everyone I told the story, they said, I believe you, that you have been Michael's sister in a previous life. Why not? I mean, I don't have to look like Michael, of course not, but it makes sense to me why I like to dance and writing lyrics and the way I like my style, and this is how I always felt in my entire life,
Yeah.
And I like to dress up, and I don't want to be misunderstood by people and saying, yeah, she just wants attention, nothing else, And it's just me. It's just me. That's who I am, and I want to be understood for that. So,
Yeah. It's good that you
Yeah.
explain yourself. I like to
Yeah.
give everybody an opportunity to get on the show here and talk about a little bit about themselves, about their goals, and what they inspire to be. And I know that
Right.
when we were talking the other day, I said, I think I can help you out with something. And I wanted to get you on to the public so they can listen to you and your story, Beyond the Eyes. And that is out there on Amazon. And if anybody wants to purchase their book, they can very easily. But again, I want you to know that we're here in your corner. I'm the kind of guy, I'm open-hearted with everybody. I believe in giving everybody an opportunity to try to get themselves on the right track.
Right.
I don't care where you come from. I'm here to help people out. And hopefully we can help you out with your book, help you out with your story, your beliefs in life, and your belief in Michael Jackson,
Yes.
which I was a fan of his too. I could do the moonwalk too,
yeah, that's
You know,
wonderful.
I could do the moonwalk pretty good, When I was a referee in the ring, you see me doing my moonwalk, people say, how do you move around backwards so good like that? I said, I learned that from Michael Jackson. So he was an inspiration to me too, in certain ways. But anyway, I'll tell you, fans out there and my viewers, that it's always a pleasure having guests on the show to talk about different topics about life in general. And hopefully you all can get to listen to and read Sylvia Chanesky's book, Beyond the Eyes. And all I can say is, please protect yourselves at all times. Be careful with that COVID out there. Protect your children. Get vaccinated. Make sure life will be much better for you out there, especially those in the Ukraine. We wish you the very best. God bless you all. We'll see you next week.